at this point we've implemented all the features of the application, but we want to add some few cool things before we wrap up the series. Okay, so in this video we're gonna do two things. One is to add these page buttons. Like if I have more than 15 items here, or let's say 10, it will now create pages. For this one I have only one page, but if I go to the list history view, you can see we'll have multiple pages. But before I click on that, just look at what will happen to this navbar right here. Okay, so we've implemented something that looks like the page is loading or give you a progress bar sort of. Alright, so if I click list history, see what just happened, that blue line that just went across the page. So this is what we're gonna implement in this video and the pagination. Alright, so if I click on page 2, it takes me down from item number 7 down to 12. Alright, so I can go back to page 1, which will give me from item number 1 to item number 6. So you can define how much items or how much rows do you want to display in the page. Alright, so let's move to the blog site where we have all the codes so you can easily follow this video. Alright, so the first step is to download the Pagination plugin. So I have the URL right here where you can go ahead and get this file. So I'm gonna click here and then click download. Alright, so that's the file downloaded right there. Okay, so I'm gonna open the folder and then move this file to the project. So I'm gonna go to src, then in the app I'm gonna open static, and in JS this is where I'm gonna paste the file. Okay, so I'm gonna extract it and then delete the extracted file. So this is the Pager plugin that we just downloaded. Okay, so that's what we need from this folder. So I'm gonna click back and then rename this folder to Pager. Okay, so now we're gonna link this file, the paging.js file, in our project. So I'm gonna do that next. Alright, so all the JS files I've moved them right below the page, okay, or at the bottom of the page so that the page will run faster. Alright, so I have the JS, my JS right here, and this is a file where we write our custom JS. So just before this file is where I'm gonna insert the pager.js file. So I'm gonna copy this and then have the pager right here, pager/paging.js. Alright, so this is the file that we copied in JS folder. So you're gonna go to JS, then pager, that is JS right here, then pager, and then we're gonna have paging.js. That's what I have right here. Okay, so I'm gonna save it and then move to the next step. Alright, so we just did this. Now we're gonna add this script in our JavaScript file so that it will now look for any class with table and then apply paging onto it. Okay, so it's gonna set the page limit to 15. So I'm gonna paste that right in my JS.js. So I'm gonna put it right above this one, save it, and then confirm that we have this file loaded right here. That is what we have here. So I'm going to check the list history page to see that it is working. So right here I'm going to click Control refresh. If I scroll down, alright, it's not working, so let's check why that is not coming. Alright, so actually it is coming right here. So what I will do is to limit this to 6 instead of 15. So we have 12, so we will need to have up to 16 before it creates the next page. So I'm going to limit that number to 6, save it, and then refresh. Okay, so we have page 1 and page 2. So what I'm going to do next is to style this text right here. Okay, so I'll add that styling right below the JavaScript code. Okay, so I have the style already typed, so I'm gonna paste it right in the stylesheet.css. Okay, so I'm gonna open stylesheet.css right here. I'm gonna paste it. You're gonna have paging.nav and then paging.nav for all the anchors or the clickable links, and then the selected. So I'm going to show you this right here. So this is where I get all these classes. All right, so if you check in the JavaScript file, here we have the paging nav, we also have the selected, and then the anchor is somewhere around here. Okay, so this is how you style that class. Okay, so I'm going to save it and then do a refresh again. So you can see it is styled the way we want it. So we're going to add the CSS to this page. Alright, so I'm going to move to the next step. So let's test this before we move to the next step. I'm going to click page number 1. So we're right at number 1. So I'm going to click page 2, right? So we can see that is working. So I can also use these arrows to move from one page to another. Okay, so let's move to the next step. That is adding the progress bar. Actually, this is not gonna check how much percentage of the page is loaded, right? So this is just to throw in some cool stuff that we can flash on the screen. We can actually make it work as the page is loading. Like, it's gonna give you a rough estimate of how much percentage is loaded on that browser. Okay, so what I'm gonna show here is how to do that effect, but not the actual page load percentage. All right, but if you look into the documentation, you should be able to do that. So now I'm going to download that plugin here. So I'm going to click here to download it. I'm going to download the zip file and then extract the file. I'm going to cut it and then move it to the project. So right in JS is where I'm gonna paste it, extract it, delete this file. Alright, so we have NProgress master. I'm gonna rename it to just NProgress. If I open this file or this folder, we have NProgress CSS and NProgress.js. So we need to add both these files to the project. So that's what we're gonna do next. I'm gonna copy this line that is for the CSS and then paste it in this file. So right here, I'm gonna scroll up and then paste it just below the bootstrap CSS. I'm gonna bring my custom CSS below, click save. Actually, before saving, we need to paste the JavaScript. We need to paste the JavaScript as well. Copy and then paste it right here, just before the my js.js file. Alright, so I'm gonna save it and then do. So this is what is gonna start and stop the loader, okay, or the NProgress. So we need to put this in the my js.js file. So I'm gonna paste it right here. Save it. So this is gonna start the loader and then end the loader right away. So, but there is a documentation in this folder right here in progress. If you open readme.md, you can see a lot more usage of this app, okay, or this plugin. So right here is what you can use to define how much or at what stage the progress will be at. So that can be set based on how much page is loaded or how much content is loaded on your browser for that page. Okay, so I'm not gonna go into that. I'm gonna head back to the application. I'm gonna do control refresh again. Right, you can see that just pop up or that just flashes. Okay, so this actually works well if the page is heavily loaded or at least having some decent amount of data. So because our page is very fast, you're not seeing the loader clearly. Okay, so what you can do is to take these two CSS or the JS files, including the CSS file above here, and then put them in the rest of your page so that you can have this effect on the entire application. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, don't forget to click on the like button, and I hope you enjoyed this series. So, and thanks for following us from the beginning of this series all the way to this video. I'm gonna enhance this application in a feature series to add a lot more features on it. Alright, so but I'm gonna update you on that. So thanks for all the support, and I hope you enjoy the entire series and you're able to follow along. So see you in another series.